Okay, so this is Graham slapping the bass, not me. I don't play bass.
Funkmaster.
There you go.
Thanks.
Welcome to the Lazy Money Machine podcast. Hi, Graham Brown on the other side. How are you?
I'm funky.
You're funky. Yeah, you should listen to a bit of the music. Oh,
I don't know about that.
There was an unexpected break in the music. Did you hear that?
It was just dropped. That's
Okay.
where the whole nightclub stopped for us.
Yeah, the nightclub stopped. Oh my goodness. Okay, so today we have our first audio clip of a friend of mine, which I wanted to discuss with you because I think we can really add value to this question. So here we go. Let's see if I can play this.
This is the Royal Crescent. We are in the city of Bath in the UK. I think it's one of the best places and locations for Georgian architecture. And it's been really fun spending 2 weeks here, getting to know how people think and how they live. One of the things that I'm considering as well is whether or not I can do less with gadgets. And I know I like to record all these blogs and everything, but you help me to decide, please, what you think of this, and what if we had less gadget time? I was experiencing a lot of really interesting stuff. I participated in a lot of social activities like quiz nights, and we interacted with each other. Gadgets are used only for calling, and sometimes.
Yeah, it's funny. She's in the UK, so putting a phone on the table there is already not done. I think so.
But really not a big part of the community here, and it's actually quite looked down upon if you overspend your time on gadgets. And I enjoyed it.
Doesn't stop
I
people.
think I made really good friends. I had real conversations with people, and less screen time. So honestly, I'm in the midst of thinking about what I can do to continue to market myself as a speaker and as content provider, but
just for the context, she's a coach and has a big coaching firm and does a lot of this content online to position herself and her firm. So
less with social media, being less on my gadgets. So put a comment up. Help.
Yeah. Okay. So that's the problem is clear, right? So since then, Cynthia Wiharja is a good friend of mine. I've also interviewed her for my own podcast, for my Job Insanity podcast. But the interesting thing there is that since this article, she has removed her Instagram and she has removed her WhatsApp groups, and she's really done some cleanup. But her worry is, and it's maybe related to what we're doing, Graham, is that if I stop doing this, if I stop being present on these social media, am I hurting my business? That's actually your question, right? Am I hurting not being on social media? Is it hurting my business as a coach, as a trainer? And it's also something that we sort of need to think about, right? Because we're in this business of being known and having some profile out there.
Yeah, it's a challenge we all face. I don't think we can live without gadgets, so we can't sort of all go back and live in a cave,
right,
and bang rocks. So I think that's important to establish, because it's not like, okay, you either have gadgets or you don't in your life. I don't think it's black and white. I think we need to establish rules and areas where we don't. We talked about this in the last couple of podcasts back, right? For example, not taking the phone into the bedroom.
Yes, yeah.
Things like that. So I think the key here is to accept that gadgets are part of your life, because otherwise you're constantly fighting it, right? I think that will cause unhappiness if you're saying, right, I'm off all social media. Just find what works and double down, and then everything else, just remove it from your life and establish rules to create some non-gadget time,
right,
as well. Do you have non-gadget time, and what do you do?
Yeah, I do that. Usually an hour before I go to sleep, I get off my computers and my phone and I try to get a book and read something, or be in the bed and read a book. I seriously try not to get to my phone early in the morning. But my work consists of being behind computers. So I do spend a lot of time on media. But what I told Cynthia personally is actually that I think it's the question is the strategy, right? If you think that you need to broadcast on these channels, then record broadcasting content, video, audio, blog articles, then broadcast them. So push them out on these channels, but then don't get involved in the customer service, basically. So don't get involved too much in the responses and in those kind of things. Make sure that it's being handled, and you can outsource that if you want. But see it as a broadcast medium, and don't get on there to consume. Right? We spoke about that in the previous one. The broadcasting versus consuming of the social media. If you become a consumer. If you become a consumer, that's basically taking up a lot of your time. But you can still be a contributor and a broadcaster. Yeah, I found a very, very famous guy that speaks about this too. Let's listen to that.
We're all, we live in a world where we're drowning in information and we're starving for wisdom.
There we go.
Tony Robbins.
Yeah, that's Tony Robbins. Yeah, but it's something he says often. But let's listen.
We're all, we live in a world where we're drowning in information and we're starving for wisdom.
That's so true, right? That's really the core, right?
Yeah, but he's somebody who doesn't really have a strong social media presence, right? And that's important. That there are a few people like him. If you think there's Tony Robbins, and there's maybe in the business space, Seth Godin doesn't have much in terms of social media accounts and so on. And they don't. I mean, I know Seth Godin, for example, doesn't have comments on his blog,
right?
And the reason he said is because he wants the conversations to happen on other people's social media, not on his own, right?
Yeah, but that's amazing, right? They are like the coaching and performance coach superstars, right?
Yeah,
and they can live without it. So Cynthia, you know, if you want to become Tony Robbins, get off social media, I would say.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. I mean, I don't think you get off it. You just kind of double down on what works, right? That's the important part. And I think maybe the mistake that she said was, she said, help me to decide. That was a big issue. I think anybody that needs help deciding, they don't know what exactly is they want, right? That's the problem, that she's putting it out there. She's letting other people tell her what she needs to do.
That's a bit hard too. I mean, if you ask your social media followers, do you want me to get off this social media? They might say no.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, we don't want to lose you.
No.
Then what are we going to do?
So I think maybe our message to Cynthia is, know who you are, be strong in how you want to spend your time, which I'm sure she is. And then, take an example. Tony Robbins is not active on social media. A lot of his social media stuff is done by his team. He even has a Tony Robbins podcast, which is being hosted by one of his staff. I mean, he gets these things out there as a broadcast channel, but he doesn't interact with people on social media. So if he can do it, you can do it, I think. See you in the next episode, guys.